This is Runescape, and this is what your inventory looks like. And for the next while, this is what mine will look like. The goal? To casually earn myself an Igneous Kal-Zuk completely from scratch. That means taking on the fight caves, multiple fight kilns, and multiple Zuk fights, all with nothing more than a single inventory slot. I won't have access to my bank, ports, and my archaeology storage and smithing storage will start as empty. I'll have to stay above 809,000 tokens at the dungeoneering shop. What I will have access to are all my abilities and the invention components that I start with. Let's see if we can do it. A little bit of future funk here. I wanted to say, be sure to stay until the end of the episode because there's something that I want to talk about and mention in regards to this challenge that I want the audience's opinion on. But for now, let's get back to the episode. RuneScape is a game that I've been playing for most of my life. I argue that my game knowledge is pretty good, and this challenge is going to put that to the test. And that's because I'll be playing RuneScape with no banking, no trading, and access to only a single inventory slot. One slot to carry me through getting prepped and taking on a series of increasingly challenging wave-based boss fights. Most actions in this game require more than one inventory slot. Making potions, more than one. Making armor, typically more than one. Making ammunition, more than one. Even putting together some high-tier equipment, more than one. Let's start out by emptying out my metal bank and emptying out my archaeology storage and filling up my inventory with some useless Alcarid flyers. And let's begin. The first part of the challenge is taking on the fight caves and taking on Jad. On current day RuneScape, Jad's considered kind of a joke. My initial plan for this was to go over to the Maze Quest caravan and grab myself a Vanquish to just quickly handle the Jad. But I decided against this because I felt like it'd make the first part of the challenge a little bit too easy. But there was another issue with that too, and that is that I don't actually have the quest points to be able to use a Vanquish. I could reset the points and get all the stuff for it, but again, I felt like this would be a little too easy for the first part of the challenge. I have the first part of this challenge all mapped out, and it's going to end with me having a bit of a range build for the Jad. But to get that started, I'm going to need two things. I'm going to need a weapon, and I'm going to need some cash. And I have an idea of where to start. Let's get to Darkmire. Oh man, I already missed my teleportation jewelry. It took me forever to remember how to get over here. Now, there's no way in hell I remember how to get to Darkmire through this puzzle, so I'm going to go look this up. So I couldn't quite remember where I wanted to go or how I wanted to get over to Darkmire, but I remember that the Blood Altar is somewhere around there, so I figured I'd take that route and see how close I can get to where I need to be. Yeah, so it turns out going through the Blood Altar into to get to Darkmire was definitely the play. That made that so much easier. And here we are, the Darkmire Arboretum. So, I actually completely forgot about this, but this tree over here can get me a set of tier 70 weapons that I'm going to be using to get started with this. So we're going to take this first log and I am going to make a wand, and we'll cut another log, and then we can craft an orb. Now this is probably going to be the only time I will really be using magic weapons because most spells I'm only going to be able to use wind spells because, you know, there's only, or air spells I should say, because of the rune restrictions here. So magic's not going to be very, very useful, but it is going to be the start of how I'm going to be doing things. So now that we have a pair of weapons, I decided to go to the free shops and go grab my 60 free air runes. The nice part about this, as long as I queue up an ability and don't fire an auto attack, I should be able to attack stuff without ever having to use a rune, which should hopefully land with me getting a couple drops to get some cash and actually be able to, you know, stack up a few air runes for what I want to do. So I was double checking my plan, and then I just realized that we are about to have a Wilderness Volcano event. So I'm going to go teleport over there because there's something that I want to test with this. Oh, that plan didn't work because apparently I didn't do enough damage. But either way, it seems that it would have been sent to my bank, so it doesn't matter anyway. The next part of my plan takes me to Prifddinas, more specifically, the Earworth district. And that is to hunt some Earworth guards and scouts. Each of these guys drops some rune salvage, as well as coins fairly commonly, as well as a crystal weapon seed, which I can use to turn into a bow that won't use any ammunition. Well, this is a little awkward. I wasn't really paying attention, and I kind of forgot I don't have a defense cape on. On the bright side, though, I collected about 60 to 8k initially, so I can actually just get over to the magic shop. Where's the guy? There he is. And I can go grab a bunch of these air runes so I don't have to make sure that I'm, you know, casting abilities all the time now. I will say one of the most annoying parts of this is every time I get one of these drops, I have to go drop my air runes, pick one of these guys up, run over to Varrock or wherever else there's a general store. And then I have to go all the way to the general shop, which I mean, I guess really isn't that far because there isn't a shopkeeper in Prifddinas in order to sell these guys. But you know what? It's a nice cash gain, and it'll, look at that. I'm already back to where I was before the death and buying the runes. No, crystal tool seed. That's not what I needed. So it's been about a half hour or so, maybe a little more than that, but I am now officially up to the 200k mark, which is awesome because now once I lost him. Once I get this crystal tool seed, I'll be able to make my bow right away. 300k, 400k, 500k, 600k. Holy crap, that is over 680k. So this actually changes a whole lot. I feel like I need to explain. So my initial plan was to get a crystal bow, as well as a viable two-handed melee weapon, in order to fight some elite dark rangers in hopes of some black dragon hide armor drops, and use that as my setup in order to take down the fight caves. However, for my kill runs, I would 100% need a sun spear, as well as a mix of hybrid armor in order to take down dills. I'm pretty sure with this cash gain, I can just go get a sun spear, and it might be better just to focus on getting some hybrid armor right away. Now that I sold off all of those runes, I am now good to unequip and drop this blisterwood orb and this blisterwood wand. Goodbye, my friends, you've served me well. And hello to my new best friend, Mr. Sunspear. Oh, it was only 600k? I thought it was 680. The next step of our process is going to take us over to the God Wars dungeon, specifically to the Saradomin encampment. But there's a little bit of prep stuff that we have to take care of first. So we're going to be needing some God Wars dungeon protection. So I'm going to go over here and grab myself this pair of monk robes, which will keep me safe from the Saradomin folks. And then I'm going to grab a couple other things as well. And hey, now I actually have some armor on. And we're going to head over to the Mage Bank training arena thing in the wilderness to go grab myself a Zamorak cape. I think if we pray at this statue, we get the cape on the ground, and that'll be protecting me from the minions. I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier, because I do have a max cape that has some stuff in it, so I guess I got to keep these perks too. And with a little bit of extra cash that we have, we're going to change this over to Commander Zilyana. I'm going to head on over there. I should be completely protected from everything. Let's go. If you haven't figured it out yet, the goal is to get myself some War Priest armor, specifically the Saradomin and Zamorak War Priest sets, because with 3 pieces of one of those sets worn, we get a decent damage reduction, which I think should be enough to handle at least the kiln. Oof. Now I'm at a bit of a loss. I guess to get the War Priest of Saradomin cape, that'll also remove my protection from the Zamorak creatures. But I guess there's only 2 here, so it actually might be worth just doing. Let's see how this works out. Oh ho ho, hell yes, we got the helmet. You've got to be kidding me. Literally like 4 kills later, we get the top. Let's go. And now I can say goodbye to this monk's robe. Haha, gauntlets. Holy crap, it's raining it now. And I say that because the first drop kind of sort of came instantly, and I've been waiting quite a bit of time before I got the second drop. But once that second drop came in, the others just rolled on in, which is really, really nice. So far I've been here for a few hours, but hopefully it'll be done fairly soon if it keeps going like this.
One eternity later.
And there's the greaves. Let's go. One last piece to go. And I get to say goodbye to the monk robe bottoms. You've got to be kidding me. I literally just got the greaves and now I have the boots. All said and done. So if we look at our equipment, you can see that I do have a full set of gear ready to go, with 2 slots notably missing, an amulet and a ring. So even though I think I could probably take on the caves as is, I think I do actually want to get something in each of those slots. To solve our necklace slot needs, we're going to return back to the God Wars Dungeon 1 Saradomin encampment to take on Commander Zilyana. The item we're going to be hunting there is the Saradomin's Murmur. Now this necklace will be a decent range bonus, but it's not going to be my final necklace for this challenge, and it will be upgraded in the future. But for now, I think it'll be pretty good for taking on the fight caves. But before that, there's one more piece of prep that I want to do. And that's going to be heading into the Deep Wilderness dungeon in order to slay some Hydrix dragons in order to get myself a Ring of Wealth. The Ring of Wealth's not going to be a massive buff, but it should decrease the amount of time that I actually have to do Commander Zilyana. The way that we're handling doing the Hydrix dragons is heading over to the Deep Wilderness via the lever in Edgeville. Once we get over there, we're going to drive all the way past the mage training arena and then go into the deep wilderness cavern and then put on protect from magic as we travel through and past all the gemstone dragons to the last area that only contains 2 Hydrix dragons. From there, I'm going to be attacking them from a distance and just prayer flicking, trying to use devotion when I can and things like that to keep myself safe until I'm almost out of prayer points, teleport out, and then do it again. Luckily, the drop rate for the Ring of Wealth is pretty common, so we should be able to get this pretty quickly. Oh, that was unfortunate. Get the Dragonstone bracelet. Hey, now we get a double Dragonstone bracelet drop. So something unexpected happened during my Ring of Wealth grind. I ended up killing around 20 to 30 Hydrix dragons and ended up getting my cash stack up to 513k. So I changed my mind on getting the Ring of Wealth and instead decided to upgrade to an Asylum Surgeon Ring. And that's because, as you may or may not know, I'm not a big fan of getting luck upgrades when I can get DPS upgrades instead. So we're ready to start our Zilyana grind. We activated the Totem of Intimidation over on Anachronia so I don't have to get KC. And to actually kill Zilyana, we're going to end up implementing a strategy that nearly every early game Iron Man has used at least once in their careers. We're going to be running around the outside of the room and kiting Zilyana, so basically we stay mobile to keep Zilyana away from being able to hit me while dealing as much damage as possible. We're also going to be resetting in between each kill so I can top off my prayer points and top off my HP. And this is probably going to be a fairly long grind since each kill is probably going to take me about a minute, and we're looking at a 1 in 320 drop rate for the Murmur. We're starting with a KC of 936. Let's see how long it takes us to get this Murmur. Now, unfortunately, I already have 5 sitting in the bank, but obviously I can't use any of those. Are you serious? So this might sound kind of stupid, but I don't actually need this hilt, so I'm not going to put it inside of the bank deposit box at all anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sell this hilt for 150k and say hi to our friend Guju over here. Hey, we got ourselves an effigy. How cool. God damn it, another effigy. Hey, there's 1,000 Zilyana kills. Oh shoot, Sandal's sword. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit worried that our Murmur drop rate would balance out while going for this one, but it really didn't. We're up to a total of 1,028 kills, meaning it took a total of 92 kills to get that Murmur. And so here we are with our final setup to take on the fight caves. We look at it, we've got ourselves a full War Priest or Saradomin set. We've got ourselves an Asylum Surgeon's Ring and the Saradomin's Murmur. So I have a single inventory slot that I can take on the fight caves with. I'm choosing to fill that obviously with a single super restore. So here we are ready to take on the fight caves. I have a vampirism aura running and I have roughly 4,700 prayer points to work with. Let's see if we can do it. We want to make sure these bats aren't hitting me because these guys will drain your prayer. So I want to make sure I get them out ASAP. A lot of this is going to be me abusing the rock here to make sure that no one can actually hit me as well while I'm trying to take them out before they can even get to me. Fuck, quite a few mistakes so far. Got hit by bats a few times. I think I'm going to have to be changing some keybinds just because it's hard to pick abilities as I'm trying to flash my prayers to make sure I don't drain them. Apparently I was hitting a wrong keybind at one point and ended up draining all my prayer. Oh man, I guess I'm gonna have to use the first dose now. My wrist has been starting to hurt because of the fact that I have to keep pressing the Z key nonstop. So I'm going to take a short break here. Oh, man. I have to take another short stop because my wrist is starting to kill me on the prayer flicking part of this. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. I'm at 41 and I already used half my prayer points.
A few moments later.
So I took a short break, did a little bit of wrist stretching and changed some keybinds around so that I have my quick prayers tied to my mouse instead. So it should be a little easier to start flicking and picking abilities without changing my hand in a really awkward position. So hopefully the rest of this cave goes a bit smoother. Made a ton of mistakes so far. Keep screwing up my timing on this prayer. I have one prayer or super restore left and still about 8 waves to go, I think. Alright, we're on the Jad. Let's see how this goes. I'm gonna drink my final super restore and see if we can knock this guy out. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, holy crap, that was super close. So we finished the caves with a total time of 51 minutes and 54 seconds. I obviously do have my fire cape, which is pretty neat, but I did sign on that, and the reason for that is if you look at my prayers, I don't have them selected as the protection prayers because of how you have to flick in order to not drain prayer points. I wanted all these set to different quick prayers instead, which kind of sort of led to me, you know, picking the wrong prayer, but we ended up finishing it after all with a total of like 200 life points at the end. So we're going to do what I've been doing and just taking it and putting it away into the bank chest. In the next episode, we're going to start working on getting ready for the kiln. So at the start of this video, I had said that there's something that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it has to do with the fact that something that I thought of for my plan, which is a cornerstone of the plan to take on this challenge, is actually incorrect information. For some reason, I was under the impression that nightmares dropped war tortoise familiars, or that something did. Unfortunately, it turns out no monster drops any beast of burden familiar, which is going to be a requirement for me to be able to take on any of the Zuk fights. I then thought of pack pigs from Eli, and unfortunately, he sends everything to the bank if you don't have enough room. I thought that he gave us noted versions of the items. This leaves me with a conundrum that has one of two possible solutions. Either A, I kill the series once I can't continue anymore, or B, I allow myself access to the pack pigs to be able to try to push all the way through. I'm leaning more to option B, but I want to see what the audience actually thinks, so let me know in the comments below. If you like my content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and thanks for watching, and as always, have a wonderful day.